request that entrench oversight for all those entities. The police feel targeted whenever they're involved even in a multi-agency approach or exercise of policing nature. It's only the police that are investigated. The other agencies are dealt with internally and mostly not in a very open manner. We request that we have existed from 2011 to date without regulations. Therefore, we're requesting that the regulations that are currently before the House table, before the Committee on Delegated Legislation, please be fast-tracked to enable us have a legal framework that is self-executing. The other issue, sir, is about compliance of the Act as it exists. That's a big challenge for us, and it's legislative in nature. We don't know to what extent we are supposed to be suing the various commanders to notify us of deaths that occur within or during police operation. This is an area we would want clarity on what IPOA ought to do or what action need to be taken by commanders who do not notify the authority within the 24-hour rule. Then, of course, give us teeth to bite. I know Honorable Hassan has indicated that we shouldn't be given prosecutorial power. Truth be told is that the more people review the files, the more the delay and justice is actually, both for the police officer and for the people of Kenya, is delayed and therefore not served as it ought to be. Other challenges, sir, is that we are a young entity, rather, with a number of staff that is currently 260. And we have an approved establishment of nearly 3,000. We are requesting for funding to allow us to be able to spread ourselves throughout the Republic and, most importantly, serve in all Huduma centers. It is almost impossible to even explain to people what we do since we are not visible. We are requesting for funding to allow us for a planned expansion and so on. And we also request that through this dialogue, National Dialogue Committee, kindly uptake of our recommendations. All these matters, we have 26 reports submitted to the NPS, submitted to the Cabinet Secretary and Parliament, both houses, and we request, including to all the 47 county assemblies, we are required by law to submit the reports. But uptake of our recommendations is a big challenge, and we don't know how many or how much should we seek court intervention to ensure enforcement. From the oversight point of view and legislative point of view, Parliament help us deal with this matter. Thank you, sir.
Mwesh, make it very brief, because Mwesh, make it very brief. I like this subject is important for this committee, but make it very brief.
Thank you very much, Chair. Indeed, I want to say that let the committee not be worried that the IG, the Inspector General of Police, would make that kind of a statement and get away with it. I think it's important for the committee to know that we do have pending complaints against the IG himself. But I want the good doctor here to make a conclusion so that on the same issue of hired bodies.
Thank you. Chairman, I want to say that when the IG makes a statement that bodies have been bought and transferred, we as IPOA, we just counter it with facts. And the fact of the matter is, I want to tell you from the forensic angle, a policeman who does not want to kill does not shoot above the waist. You shoot below the waist to immobilize. When we get pathology reports and we are capable of telling whether this was long range, short range shooting by the entry and exit of the bullet, or if the bullet is lodged within. And therefore, the reports that we have got those facts. The challenge sometimes, and I want to bring it out very carefully, is when we want forensic analysis of the weapon that was used. Then we sometimes encounter bottlenecks because this laboratory is under the control of the DCI. The DCI, to me, and I want you legislators, is part of the NPS. He is under the command of the IG, and he cannot be independent. He denies or they alter the evidence because they have to give us the report of the weapon used, they say, as per our analysis, these weapons were not in the possession of the police as at the time of the action. That is one thing we encounter. Secondly, I want to say, do our police suffer from frustration? Are they in the wrong profession? Or because of the amount of misplaced aggression that we see? I want to say that the police commanders have told us that when they go for recruitment, some of the people they recruit to Kiganjo College is forced on them by powers from elsewhere. And they are wondering whether the product they are training for 9 months in Kiganjo are actually coming out to be policemen and women, or people whose relatives and friends bought their way into the police training. I want to say this because we have seen incidents where police with their batons, and the case of the 2 brothers in Luanda, whom you buried, the post-mortem was explicit, saying they actually died of rungus, not even a gun. Why would a professional police officer continue to inflict injury to somebody whom they have already subdued, instead of either arresting the person and putting in the lorry and go and process the crime? Is it frustration inwardly? Is it because they think that they lord it over the population of the populace? We have got those issues. So I want to answer that statement of the IG that we will counter it with the facts. The only thing is that he may use his professional influence to deny us the ballistic and forensic reports from the forensic lab. And we must say that we have made a proposal that this forensic laboratory should be given autonomy away from the DCI. That's a proposal we have made, so that it does its job not only for the police. There are very many other organizations that would want to use that laboratory, including even the national government chemist, including the national public health laboratories. There are certain things that they will need to have analyzed there. We have got other institutions that would use that lab. So domiciling it strictly under the IG also hampers our work, because the DCI are part and parcel of the police. But we get the facts from that.
Thank you, Dr. Final word. I think I'll let the chair have the final word. Please, just no, Eugene, just let the chair.
There's a question they have not answered.
Yeah, just let the chair have a final word, and
yes,
then if it is unanswered, we will ask again.
Chair, while you're concluding,
can you please, Eugene, let the chair just say something?
Yes, as she concludes, there's one question you have not answered about the abuse of human rights and the special support unit embedded in the police that has been responsible for some of these atrocious
You've asked the question. Let her answer, please.
Can you respond to that?
Chairman, could I seek for your indulgence to allow a question you raised on democratization of policing to be answered by Commissioner Torrey very shortly, please? Because that came from the chair.
Okay.
And 1 minute, please.
Yeah, 1 minute.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. You did raise the issue of securitization of security to democratization of security. I hope I understood your explanation on what you meant, and I would like to say that under our mandate of inspection of police premises, we do look out for human rights abuses and compliance, and we make our recommendations to the IG on what needs to be done, but also work with the officer in charge of the station to see what they can improve on. Currently, as a result of our recommendation, we have CPUs, that is child protection units, being built in a number of police stations. Also from our monitoring mandate on police operations, we also monitor standards, human rights standards that are supposed to be maintained, and thereafter we make our recommendations. Also on the issue of democratization, while carrying out our inspections, Chair, we also look out to see whether police stations have actually set up or established community policing committees. And what we have found is that a number of police stations have not come up with community policing committees, which involves membership of members of the public. So we want to pray that perhaps that's something you can pick up. We have made our recommendations to the IG to ensure that each police station and OCS complies with that requirement. Finally, there is also the requirement in law for establishments of county policing authorities. With county policing authorities, Mr. Chairman, this is supposed to be established by governors. And these, again, very, very few governors have established this. And the challenge here is that the county commissioners are supposed to be members of these county policing authorities. And there's a bit of conflict because the county commissioners have the county security committees. And so they feel uncomfortable to sit under a committee that is chaired by the governor on policing and security matters. So that's something you may need to look at. On tracking of police reforms, Chairman, we are currently working on all the recommendations that we have made to the IG and tracking and seeing which ones have been implemented, which ones have not been implemented, and we will share the report with yourselves. Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you very much, Chairman. As we conclude, I want to thank this committee for giving us an opportunity. In terms of special police units, for us, any injury or death